Daniel Greenfield's Friday Afternoon Roundup, subtitled The Aerodynamic Properties of Time, read by Adam Taxin. Daniel Greenfield's columns can be found at sultankanish.blogspot.com. Today is Friday, August 17th, 2012, and just one note, what I'm reading here is a close to final draft, but there may be some sections that are not included here that will be included in the final draft, which will be up at sultankanish.blogspot.com at, I'm guessing, around 7 p.m. on Friday, today, August 17th. Here is Friday Afternoon Roundup on the aerodynamic properties of time. You may have visited the blog this morning or in the afternoon and noticed that something was different. Sultan Kanish has belatedly switched to a new template. If you're having problems with the new template or have any suggestions to offer, hit the comments section, which is now easier to get to use and to use. Or to get to and to use. Time has a way of flying by, and this blog, which it seems to me I just put up last week, is now on a fourth template. The last one, largely designed by my friend Lemon Lime Moon, has lasted a good long time. While I'm not the designer that she is, I plunged in, and for better or worse, you are either reading this on a new template or wondering why there's a blank gray space where the site used to be. They said that the shoemaker's child goes barefoot and the graphic designer's blog hasn't been updated since 2008. Some of the innovative state-of-the-art features that this blog now boasts include functional search, which hasn't worked since Bing dropped its site search and didn't even work then, comments that don't pop up in your face, and marginally functional sidebars. What comes next? Anything is possible, even a future update in less than 4 years. Next section. Can you feel the hate? A great deal of attention has been paid to hate-filled protests in front of synagogues by the Westboro Baptist Church or school protests in Beit Shemesh, but in Ann Arbor, hate-filled left-wing protests have taken place in front of a synagogue every Sabbath for a decade. What you are seeing is one of a few photos from Ann Arbor's Beth Israel congregation, and some of the photos get uglier than this. There has been astoundingly little media commentary on this, though if a right-wing group had been harassing a synagogue every Shabbat for a decade, there would have been 4 documentaries and 8 books out on it by now. The FEH site, dedicated to exposing the protesters, is a disturbing look into the mindset of the twisted, mentally ill left. Liberal Jewish groups would like you to believe that harassment like this comes only from neo-Nazis, but the Ann Arbor situation demonstrates that it is at least as likely to come from their own fellow travelers. Amy Smith of the Huron Valley Greens Party amplifies her objections to celebrate Israel Day outside the JCC on May 17, 2009. Though not Muslim, Smith wears a hijab, and she scolded the crowd, "Stop pretending you're from Arabia. Be proud of your European roots." At a previous JCC event, she chanted, "Defecating on children's drawings will not bring peace." Smith, who brought her daughter to help shout down the Jewish community event, was her party's candidate for Congress. What exactly is the difference between this woman and the loons from the Westboro Baptist Church? Amy Smith appears to have been wearing the hijab since at least 2003, when she began running for office as a candidate of the Green Rainbow Party on a platform of protecting Cambridge from the Patriot Act and COINTELPRO. Despite being endorsed by the Mystic Green Rainbow Coalition, the Palestinian American Congress, and Richard Stallman of the Free Software Foundation, her campaign was sidelined when her campaign manager, Amir Jubran, faced deportation for a fake marriage, terrorist ties, and assault. The media studiously ignores people like this or even praises them. You don't hear the Green Party being classed with neo-Nazis even if their members insist on acting the same way. Or this woman. One told him, Jewish prayers should be disrupted. You pray for genocide. A white-haired woman holding a sign denouncing Israel rushed over to add, "It's true, it's true." Or this one. Gloria Harb said she participates because she believes the United States' political system is corrupted by Jews intent on furthering Israel's agenda before America's. "I'm just one member of the group, and I focus on the American public and breaking the silence," she said. "I know there are some of us who hold out hope of reaching some of those people in the synagogue, but not me." Fun fact, Harb means sword in Arabic. There is also this tragic story. On most Saturdays, congregants and passers-by will also see Marcia Fetterbush holding signs. Though the smallest in height and the oldest at 75, Fetterbush brings some noteworthy stature to the group. In 1988, she was inducted into the Michigan Women's Hall of Fame for her pioneering work battling gender discrimination in education. She divorced her husband before their 32nd anniversary about a year later. Until about a year ago, her daughter Laurel was a mainstay at the Shabbat protests and staunch defender in local media and blogs. However, she no longer joins them and is now a member of Beth Israel congregation herself. She had an epiphany of sorts, I guess, Hershkovitz said. Laurel's gone to the dark side. She quit the vigils and voted for McCain. Then there is this class act, Saul Metz. His long white hair and frothy prolonged beard make Metz hard to miss, and he isn't hiding from anybody. Somewhat of a throwback from Ann Arbor's counterculture and anti-war movements, Metz often spoke his mind on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict through frequent letters to the editor, submissions to the Ann Arbor News. Decades later, his own journeys to disputed territories after the Second Intifada solidified his desire to take his ex-hippie wares to a new cause. Though he is now a Quaker, Metz, after a long pause, acknowledges that 2 of his 4 children are practicing Jews today and don't have much respect for his efforts. It was right before and during that period of transition through the divorce that finances became a stiff challenge, he said. He insists that, at Rosemary's urging, he turned to the local Jewish Federation for help with clothing and other needs for his family. He said groups like the Federation are what need to be stopped because of the money they raise for Israel. He is convinced the majority goes to military projects and settlements rather than humanitarian causes, despite his own experience with them. He's aware of the hypocrisy, but remains unfazed by it. That's fair to say, but I don't see a big problem with it, Metz, 66, explained. The U.S. government helps me, too, but I don't have any problem criticizing them either. I didn't want the Federation's help, and I didn't think they, his children, needed it. I've seen these type of people locally. They're a mix of elderly ex-commies, professional leftist activists, and the fourth wave of college graduates with useless degrees, e.g. gender studies and critical race theory. Many of them are mentally ill. Most of them are filled with hate. During the Bush years, the media embraced these people in their rallies, just like they embraced OWS, which attracts the same type of loons, except they're not loons, they're mainstream figures on the left. Going back through the years takes us to Amy Smith's original appearance at a 2003 rally. Also, there was Michael A. Goldfarb, seen here embodying the best of 90s douchebag fashion. There is a war going on in Iraq and a war going on here, Goldfarb said. Harvard is a colony that needs to be liberated. The pair protested in song, with Goldfarb rapping, "Drop beats, not bombs," to the rhythm of Ugunake's drum. Many Americans might agree that Harvard is a colony that needs to be liberated, but from the likes of Goldfarb today, Goldfarb has improved his fashion sense to the best of noughts, zeros, hipster fashion, and blogs at the Huffington Post. According to his bio, Michael is an award-winning author from New York City and a McCracken Fellow in Sociology at New York University. In addition to the Huffington Post, his work has appeared in The Nation's Salon, the Harvard Crimson Monthly Review, Jewish Currents, and the books Poets Against the War, Nation's Book 2003, and Making War, English Literature and the Invasion of Iraq, Palgrave Macmillan, 2011. His writing has received Harvard's James Gordon Bennett Prize and the New York Times James B. Reston Award. He has also won recognition for his work as an activist, photojournalist, violinist, and fiddler. He is currently writing a book about Occupy Wall Street. Of course he is. And yes, the Wart hates Israel. Of course he does. And so I leave you with these deep thoughts from the Wart of Harvard. Like the other artists, Goldfarb focused his reading on the topic of homelessness, just like you might write here's a quote, just like you might write a love poem and get a girl to think of you in a deeper way. You can write a poem about, say, homelessness and get people to think about that in a deeper way. Similarly, you can spend a decade harassing a synagogue to get people to think about what the hell is wrong with the left in a deeper way. The Ann Arbor Hate group has apparently managed to disgust even one of its own members so badly that she joined a synagogue and began voting for McCain. Imagine how much it has radicalized the people actually in the synagogue. Now that's deep. Next section. There's absolutely no reason to bomb Iran, but if we do, Iran will destroy us all. Demented leftist Bradley Burston has penned an article so schizophrenic it should be grounds for some kind of diagnosis. First, Burston insists that bombing Iran will usher in Armageddon. Mr. Netanyahu, this is a quote, Mr. Netanyahu, before you bomb Iran, say goodbye to everyone you know. Say goodbye to everyone you love. You know you won't be able to protect all of them from the retaliation that will surely come. Everyone you know is a target. Everyone you love is in range. Some of the rockets with high explosive warheads will get through the missile shield, and even if you and a few of your loved ones are sealed into the most sophisticated shelter yet devised, not one of you is immune. When it's over, when you get back to the surface, this will be a different country. I'm not sure whether that part was written by Mahmoud Ahmadinejad or Bradley Burston, but his thesis is that Iran is horrifyingly dangerous, which is clearly why Netanyahu is absolutely crazy for not wanting Iran to have nuclear weapons. It won't matter then, all these arguments we have over why you insist on pursuing this, whether it was a bluff that went ballistic or a tragic thirst for a place in history. After writing 700 words on how Israel will suffer at the hands of Iran's mullahs, Burston then acts as if the decision to do something about Iran's nuclear program is so wholly and incomprehensibly irrational that he can't even begin to understand it. Cognitive dissonance. You have met your match. The end.